Well,
Now pronounce your men.
okay.
Don't cry.
15-year anniversary the other day. We did 15 years, yeah.
Did you?
April 7th.
Yay!
Anniversary.
Well,
April 7th.
listen, first off, I'm going to speak on behalf of everybody here. Everybody. First off, what a blessing you guys have been to the church, your family, and just looking at your children, the way you're raising them, it's just beautiful. And this is a step of faith, what you're doing. It has to be a God thing. It has to be. Okay? We just wanted to do a little something for you. This is, right now, this is a token, just a blessing. Okay? Tomorrow will be the final. But we just want to send you off with a little something, just so, you know, you have a little bit of a start or whatever. Okay? Everybody loves you.
Anybody?
I mean, this is just a few of the lives that you touch, so.
And there were many that just couldn't,
Yeah,
not that
couldn't
they
make
just couldn't, they wanted to, just couldn't, it's not.
They really just couldn't do it.
They just couldn't. You made some really good excuses, right?
No.
And just remember too, what was said today, you're not severing these relationships. They'll always be here and they'll always be solidified. So, I mean, if you come back, it's just like you never left.
Yes, yep.
Right?
Really?
Except you gotta
I
pay
mean,
your
you'll always
bills
be
all
part
over.
of God. This is a special thing. You'll always be part of gospel community.
So he gets to be
You're gonna
shortstop
part
right
of it.
away?
Oh, the red one's gone.
Who's gonna, Phil, Lewis is gonna take your spot.
You got Luke over
Yeah. He's on the 18.
Somehow I see like a rapture of health.
Yeah.
The Encounter guys that wanted to be here, but of course they're in Encounter, so they're thinking of you,
We
and
just ran out of time.
we just,
Thank you.
we could have flew
You
the
know,
house
they're on
up
a
with people.
3-year plan. They are coming back.
Yeah.
He's just going there to
It
learn.
seems like,
He's become a pastor, and then he's going to come back.
yeah.
Amen.
We
Once you think you're out, you're gonna come,
We're leaving
Right now.
everything here, you know, everything is a whole family, everybody from church, it's all.
You're not
here,
bringing us?
So. Whoever you stuff in the car is coming.
Somebody needs a suitcase, is
We'll take
that
it back, we'll definitely take it back.
Don't Greg in the car. With a box of kids. We're coming to you.
They're all unrestricted free agents.
They're all unrestricted, 3x-errors are in it, there's a lot of unrestricted kids who end up with other people's cars.
Richie's in the trunk.
Richie's definitely in,
A
yeah.
couple of De Leon kids.
We have a theory about young kids in church that Chris and I have discussed this at length.
Yeah, we,
There-
them too.
Yeah.
There are certain kids in church that parents come to church hoping that someone takes their kids.
Those are unrestricted free agents.
Those are unrestricted, so you find them like in the back seat of your car. And
But
then,
Abigail's she's a franchise player.
she's a friend, so we don't give her up easy. So if any of you guys ever get her,
Yeah.
she's like our main help. So
Abby, come over. Let Rachel come with Abby over to the house. Danielle, come to our house.
Yeah. And one day, Josh was there. We had Josh D'Agostino at the church.
I'm not.
There were no parents.
Like, do you want to come home with us? Yeah.
One of the other kids invited him, and I'm looking at him in the back, and he said, "Well, if I can't come, I'll just walk home." And I'm like, "You can't make it from church."
Oh, I remember.
But, no, so we took him home. There's no way we're not gonna make him walk home and tell him he can't. So he's unrestricted too, I imagine.
There's always a few that get released on waivers.
There is, and sometimes we go home at last. I look at the car and it's like, wow, there's no one today. So it's, but we are deeply grateful to everybody here, and I think it's been 6 years for us when we started coming. Samuel, she was pregnant with Samuel when we started coming, and we met the homeschooling portion of everybody first, because that was probably like 8 years ago. We were just talking about it today. She had decided she wanted to homeschool or consider that, and we found the group that we're all in, the Leah group. So we met the homeschooling people that are here, and that was probably a year or two before we actually came to the church and saw the rest of you. But what I wanted to say with that was that, at first I didn't think, it was in her heart to homeschool the kids. I grew up in public school, my brother and sister, and thankfully we were very involved in youth group, and we did okay. So I didn't think it necessary to homeschool. I figured we did fine, they'll do fine. But it really was her heart, and as I considered it, and then as we started to go to these meetings that they had, and we met, I remember Joe and Karen from the first day, because they separated the men and the women, and Joe taught the men, and I met Joe. From the one of my first meetings, there was Joe there, and a bunch of you guys
We loved
were
you
there.
before you knew it.
Yeah.
Before you knew us, we loved you.
But we saw I will just say, the character of these people, these homeschooling people, that drew us to them as people. And that really softened me to even considering it. Because when I grew up, I'll be honest, there were a few kids in my church that were homeschooled, and unfortunately their mom was just a little nutty. And they were too, and they were
the weird kids.
they were every stereotypical thing of what homeschool.
Perfect example, character, look at Joe.
That really just hasn't changed. It's covered that.
We see that. So
I would really trust my kids with him too, look at him.
We all left them in church and trusted them.
But it was that was a major factor for me when you see people doing something, and then you see the character and really just the dedication that they had to their kids and to God. I said, these are people that I would like to be with and I'd like to be part of. I believe in what they're doing. Then we started to come to the church because so many of you guys come here, and we met the rest of you guys.
It's packed.
We discovered that you're just as weird as the homeschoolers. If not worse. So they got nothing on you guys. It was it was an incredible process. She was pregnant at the time. We had left the church we were in Farmingdale. It was just too far for us to go. And my family was involved in planting that church, in '94. So there was always a lot of work. It never grew very much, so it was setting up a sound system. There's so much work involved in it. And when we finally left there, I felt like I really wanted to just visit other churches, because in a small church, when you're one of the few families that, if you're not there, Sunday school doesn't get taught or whatever. So we had to be very committed to that church. So once we left there, we were going to just jump around and see other churches, and this was one of the first places we wanted to see because of our relationships. And I had another 6, 7 churches. I was going to take months, but each week it was. I went to Northport Baptist, which is now Island Christian, and a couple of different churches. I went to Medford and appreciated elements of them. But each week she was like, "Let's go back to Safeco," And within a month or two, it was like, "We're just going to go to Safeco," I didn't need to look at the whole island to see there was just so much of
It was really the navigated trips that got you.
that didn't hurt. That didn't hurt. And once I found out you had 2 softball teams, the Holy Spirit was moving. You felt that helped. They all know, my kids all know how funny I am. So we really just we've had just an incredible 6 years here. The people that are here have probably certain factors would have had us leave earlier, but just the relationships that we have. You saw it with my kids today as we prayed, and just don't want to leave this.
You're part of the family. Your family, your family.
Yeah,
And
we feel it, and we're just deeply, deeply grateful that there are just so many of us like this that mean so much to us.
And who knows, you could be opening up a whole new area in Texas. That could be the only state left that's
we might see.
Available.
It could happen.
We're hard as a guest room, so.
There's a guest anytime. Thank you.
But since they prayed over you, I mean, you did get prayer today, we don't want to get the emotions going again, and we planned on, but I
Thank
think
you.
that, unless anybody feels, but we want you to, Pastor said today, excitement, joy. We don't want to bring it down, we want to bring you up
Yeah, no,
tonight.
this is-
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So, well, prayer tonight is that you just leave here smiling and have fun.
And there will be continuous
excited.
prayers, always gonna
Yeah.
remember you guys, that's for sure. You know,
I don't
and
wanna-
your children too,
wanna keep
you know.
you
You know that God's got great things.
We are praying.
He promises that, the promises are there, right? We
Amen.
stick with the promises, you know.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Yay. Nobody leaves without something.
So we get a picture of everybody. Let's make sure I get everybody. That was like right on cue.
I get the name.